Man, the WNBA season kicked off yesterday, man. And we had one hell of a ball game between the Dallas Wings and the Indiana Fever. It went down to the wire. And the Dallas Wings pulled it out, 107-104. And right after the game, all the Caitlin Clark fans and all the Caitlin Clark stans started making a lot of excuses for Caitlin Clark, and also, once again, throwing their head coach, Stephanie White, under the bus. You are now tuned into a brand new episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. But we got to talk about it because this nonsense with Caitlin Clark needs to stop. And we're going to talk about it right after this.
Let me put you on game. These other podcasts out here talking that shit, but ain't repping the same. It's my bro K-Sap, chopping up topics for your optics. From politics to your cockpits. Tune in, you gotta watch this. Exclusive material for your radio, stereo, pumping high definition. Stop what you doing and listen. We smashing all competition. You better jump on this wave. Somebody pass me a mic, man, I got something to say.
Well, guys, you know I got something to say, man. And the WNBA, man, kicked off yesterday in full effect. We had a great game between the Dallas Wings, Indiana Fever, and we saw some excellent basketball. This game came down to the wire. And when we talk about two players where they use the player comparison between Paige Bueckers and Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers, every time Paige Bueckers has played Caitlin Clark since she's came into the WNBA, even in preseason, it seems like the Dallas Wings and Paige Bueckers be punching the Indiana Fever right in the mouth. And Paige Bueckers always stands out and has an efficient game against the Indiana Fever. And after yesterday's loss to the Dallas Wings, we had to sit here and hear all this nonsense from these Caitlin Clark fans and some of these YouTube content creators. But now they're starting to see what we've always said about Caitlin Clark. She is a defensive liability. And Paige Bueckers took it upon herself to go at Caitlin Clark every chance that she got. And then on the flip side, Paige Bueckers took on that challenge of guarding Caitlin Clark. Now, a lot of people are making excuses talking about, oh, Caitlin was hurt yesterday, her back was hurting and things like this. All kinds of excuses coming out for Caitlin Clark. It's just, if you watch basketball for the totality of what it is, you will see that Paige Bueckers is completely better than Caitlin Clark. Paige Bueckers is not a one-trick pony. Paige Bueckers is a three-level scorer, three-pointers, mid-range, and getting to the cup. Also, she can play defense as well. She can pass the ball. And one thing that I will give Caitlin Clark, transition. Oh, she can play in transition. She makes some beautiful passes. She always advancing the ball ahead of, the players. Easy transition buckets. But as far as a complete basketball player, Paige Bueckers stands out. So in yesterday's game, it's a lot of things that stood out to me. The team play of the Dallas Wings, because they did have Enrique Umbawale back, and she was doing her thing. And then also, man, as a whole team, they competed in Indiana. And this was the narrative that was going on last year about Caitlin Clark selling out all these venues. That game right there didn't look sold out to me. So what's the issue? Now you got people wanting to throw Stephanie White under the bus because they took a loss. And you know what the narrative is. Just give Caitlin Clark the ball and get out the way. But as far as watching basketball yesterday, I saw some good basketball from both teams. And Kelsey Mitchell, once again, is probably their best scorer on this Indiana Fever team. Aaliyah Boston, she did her thing down in the paint and getting rebounds. Caitlin Clark did have 5 turnovers once again. But a lot of people saying, Stephanie White is a defensive guru. And that's the reason why they brought Stephanie White to Indiana to fix the defense. The way you can fix the defense is sit Caitlin Clark in stretches. Because down the stretch yesterday, they couldn't get no stops. And their defensive stopper and Raven Johnson was sitting on the bench. So in yesterday's game, things that stood out to me was the efficiency from Paige Bueckers. And, we'll go over it. We'll look at the fact that the Dallas Wings starters, Jessica Shepard, she had 13 points, 5 of 8 from the field, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. She only had 2 turnovers, 2 steals. Alana Smith, she played 20 minutes, 6 points. She was the only starter for the Dallas Wings not in double figures. She was 2 of 6 from the field. Then you look at Odyssey Sims. Wow. She punched in 20, 8 of 11 from the field. Efficient, 2 of 3 from three-point line. Arike Ombawale, 29 minutes, 22 points. She was 8 of 15. And we know Arike can be streaky and sometimes she can be inefficient. She was 8 of 15 from the field, 3 of 7 from three-point range. Then you look at Paige Bueckers, 32 minutes, 20 points, 8 of 10 from the field, 80% field goal percentage, 1 of 3 from three-point line, 3 of 6 from the foul line. Yeah, she did miss the free throws at the end of the game, but they held on. She had 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal. Then you look at the bench, Alicia Clark, 4 minutes, 3 points. Maggie Sechrest, 7 points. And then the rest of them, Isaiah James, she came in 16 minutes, 10 points. Crucial minutes, right? Then you look at the Indiana Fever starters. Melisha Hines-Allen, 21 minutes, 6 points, 3 of 7 from the field. Then you look at Aaliyah Boston. Like I said, 23 points, 9 of 14 from the field. Efficient. 4 of 6 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover, 3 steals. Then you look at Kelsey Mitchell, doing what picked up off of what she did last year. 33 minutes, 30 points, 11 of 22 from the field. That's 50%. 2 of 9. She struggled from the three-point range, 2 of 9, 6 of 7 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, no steals. Then you look at Sophie Cunningham. 3 points in 26 minutes. Straight cardio out there. Then you look at Caitlin Clark, 31 minutes. She had 20 points, 7 of 18 from the field, 39%. And then 2 of 9 from three-point range, 22%. 4 of 4 from the free throw line. She had 5 rebounds, 7 assists, but she had 5 turnovers. She had 4 personal fouls as well. Then you go to the bench, Michaela Timpson, 11 points. Demetrius Dantas, 7. Ty Harris, 0. Lexi Hall, 0. Raven Johnson in 12 minutes had 4 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. And she sat on the bench in crucial minutes where they couldn't get stops because Paige Bueckers was taking it on her, upon herself to go out there and go straight at her. And everybody's making all these excuses now for Caitlin Clark. Oh, her back was hurting, things of that nature. And it's just crazy that this is the narrative that they want to spear about Caitlin Clark. And it's kind of crazy from all the stats that we looked at. It's just like she's not an efficient ball player. She does some things great and some things she needs work on. But this notion of she's the best guard that you've ever seen in the WNBA, we got to cut that out. There's too many excuses floating around for her, and this nonsense got to stop, man. We talking about team ball. We talking about they just flat out didn't get it done. Stop making excuses for her. Paige Bueckers and the Dallas Wings went into Indiana Fever's hometown on their home court, and they punched them in the mouth. That's just the bottom line. Paige Bueckers is always up for the challenge. So you guys, if you really watch basketball, you'll understand what we've been saying all along about Caitlin Clark. And I think some of these Caitlin Clark stans are starting to realize that, yeah, she's a defensive liability. But stop making all these excuses for Caitlin Clark and then trying to throw Stephanie White under the bus. I see everybody in the comment section, #salute. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.